Hi, good morning. It's the 11th of April. I think we've still got a while to go, but yeah, I hope you're keeping well. And thanks for joining us again for another Baleia wine tasting. Today we will be featuring two wines. We've got our Deborah and then our estate blend, which is quite a unique one. It's called the Sebastian, and that's a blend of Tempranillo, Syrah, and Pinot Noir. So very unusual. Great. So, yeah, big passion for me is the making of rosé. I think it's probably the wine in the industry which has got the biggest or the fastest growing segment. Definitely a lot of rosé being made and obviously being sold as well. And I really think it is something which South Africa can be really good at. We're I think we do have a tendency to try, put attention into our detail, and yeah. So we really, with a wine like rosé, you could either just make it rosé and just be a dry, or basically like a dry white wine. But I think guys are putting a lot more effort into it, and yeah. So basically, just quickly, rosé comes from the color comes from the red grape. So what you normally do is most guys at the moment are doing what they call saignée, where they actually bleed off a little bit of the red grape juice, and they end up fermenting that juice on its own. And yeah, we tend to tend to make those wines a little bit too ripe. So what we've done is Baleia, we specifically harvest red grapes just for rosé production. We don't bleed off any juice or anything like that. So basically, what happens is with our rosé is we would select a block before the season starts, even decide, okay, well, this looks like the best component to make rosé from. So in our case, we use Shiraz on the 2019, which is this vintage that I'm talking about. We will draw off some juice and we'll press the juice off. Grapes are picked at a much lower ripeness level than what we would on red wine. So yeah, this is picked at about 22.5 degrees Balling, and give you a potential alcohol of about 13. And I'm really looking for a more candy, strawberry, red fruit component when I make rosé. The problem when you pick the grapes too ripe, as if in making a red wine, is the flavors are just way too ripe. You don't want any of those confected jam characters or anything like that. You want nice fresh candy, and also nice strawberry red fruit component. So the 2019 vintage is a combination. I picked a batch of the Shiraz. I bled off the juice and then pressed the skins immediately. As far as skin contact goes, the juice remained in contact with the skins for as long as it took to fill and empty the press, so maybe 2 to 3 hours. And then I ferment the Syrah component, and yeah, I treat it just like I would any white wine, actually very similar to Sauvignon Blanc. And then about a month after the fermentation ends, I will add in a little bit of Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay just to play with the flavor component a little bit. Chardonnay just to lift the mouthfeel a little bit more, minerality and mouthfeel. And then just what the Savio does to it as well, is also adds a little bit of freshness. But I mean, there's no recipe. We'll change this, depends on the year. We'll do, even just use Shiraz, 100% Shiraz in the 20 vintage. I've been working closely with Pinot Noir and with Shiraz. So yeah, it's quite a versatile to make. Actually, you can really try use anything. Main varietals, I would say, would be Syrah, would be a big component of the rosé market. Pinotage is normally quite a well-known base. Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, yeah. So yeah, and then basically with the rosé, I do the blending within a month of the fermentation, and after that fermentation, I will do a blend of the different components of the Syrah, Rosé, the Sauvignon portion, and the Chardonnay. So yes, I think the origins of Rosé mainly, or the countries that are really known well for it, is I think the south of France and Provence and in Beaujolais. The guys are really take pride in it, and I think maybe some of that mindset has swung into South Africa. I think the guys that take it have started taking rosé way more serious. I think people are willing to pay the same price for rosé, a decent rosé, as what they are for a Sauvignon Blanc now. And there's versatility. I think what's important is you should be able to close your eyes when you taste a rosé and maybe pick up a white wine, thinking it's white, or it shouldn't be this heavy, high alcohol or anything like that. You want nice freshness and nice acidity. Yeah. So this 2019, this is a pretty much roughly a year down the line, and it's still very primary, meaning those original fruits are still very fresh. I think the wine has an amazing ability still to last quite a while, at least another year before it changes to secondary flavors. But it's still very candy, tropical, nice melon, strawberry characters, pomegranate even, very nice. Yeah. So for me, I would say rosé is a summer wine, sure, and it definitely can service a lot of different dishes. I think you're looking at a nice salad, gentle sauces, nothing too heavy, nice sprinkle of olive oil on salad dishes, and light white meat dishes maybe. Yeah, and just keeping it simple, nothing too saucy or spicy. Yeah, my wine might just be beaten by any heavy spice. Great. So yeah, that's the Deborah. We still do have available, just not right now, as you all know. I think this vintage, like I said, is going to last quite a while. We'll probably be out of stock in the next 2 months or so across the country. So yeah, great. So that's the Deborah. Okay, so this is the 2017 Baleia Sebastian. So as you know, I explained it last week, is Baleia means whale. The reason being is Portuguese sailors visited these waters quite a lot, and Sebastian Bay, which is about 10 kilometers south of the vineyard, is a breeding ground for southern right whales, and it Baleia meaning whale bay. So yeah, there was the link there, and yeah, we thought we would, being close to the bay, we would name it after the bay, Sebastian. Yeah, Baleia, the Sebastian is our estate blend that we make. It's a rather unique blend. We've used Tempranillo at about 45%, and then about 36% Syrah, and then the last 19% is Pinot Noir. So very unusual. No one really ever adds Pinot Noir into a blend. I was pretty skeptical as well. I think, if you look at the purists, Pinot makes such a great wine on its own. And but it really does add something really special. At 19%, it actually has the dominant nose characters. It's definitely the strongest as far as the scent goes and the aroma. For what reason, I have no idea, to be honest. I just think it's very it's just a very, very interesting flavor. I think the Pinot that we make is just that. It's very salty, very minerality, lots of herb, and fynbos character that comes through on the nose. And then obviously the Tempranillo is really dominant as far as mouthfeel goes. It's a very powerful grape. It's Spanish or Portuguese, depending which you prefer to call it under. Tempranillo being Spanish, and Tintorores being Portuguese. At 45%, it's pretty dominant. It doesn't dominate the nose at all. Very, very firm tannin structure that it adds to the wine, and also body. And then the remaining 36% being Syrah. Syrah is just, beautiful elegance, comes through, nice fruit complexity, lots of different fruits. So red to dark fruit spectrum, from currant down to strawberry again. So each vintage varies. We don't have any set recipe on how we make this wine. I think what's really important is the wine must be fresh, and the tannin profile must be really nice and soft and elegant. We pride ourselves in the fact that we don't fine any of our red wines. The wines, I think if you do the pressing at the right time and you work properly with the whole extraction and the punch downs and how you work with the wine in the winery, the wine is just naturally quite soft. So the Sebastian is a wine which can be aged for a long time. I would say the 17 vintage is at least 10 years. And it's a firm tannin that it has on it, but nice and soft. Nice, and it's dry, but it's nice and soft still. So the wine will definitely go well with it. Most red meat dishes, definitely steaks. Sauce for me is the key in most dishes. Obviously, you could add spice and intensity in your sauces as well. So you just got to be careful there. But I would just steer away from anything spicy, and just serve with like a braaivleis or something like that. I think is the best. Sorry, I just want to check here. I keep getting messages from a group. Great. So I think as far as the future goes for the Sebastian, it's something that we will keep going at. We're not really too set on making much larger volumes. It's a very niche market, but it's definitely a very unique wine. We can only make a certain amount, and it's very special. I think it carries a little bit of history with it, and as far as a brand goes, it's something that we hold dear to. Great. I hope you enjoyed this. It's a bit of a short one today. We'll definitely catch up with you next weekend. I think we're pretty much all in this together. We pretty got a couple of extra weeks put on, so I hope you're not running out of wines. I'm sure you are. I've already had a couple of requests if I could sell some wine to them, and I'm like, no. So just hang in there. We'll be back next weekend for another tasting, And yeah, keep well. Sure.